Hey guys, what's up? This is Evan. We're back at the shop. It's a beautiful Saturday outside, but we're just kind of hanging out here in the arcade. I went up to Wayback's Arcade earlier just to check on things, and there is a ton of people with the same idea. They're all hanging out at Wayback's. If you haven't been, you ought to check it out. Look us up on Facebook, see all the cool stuff we got going on. But yeah, it's a pretty crowded there. So I decided to just come have a low key day and hang out here at the shop. And so let's see what we can get into. Thanks for tuning in. So it's Saturday. You guys know what that means. It's time to have a refreshing pop after a long, hard week. And man, has it been a week. Golly. I started off strong. We got 3 or 4 monitors done. By Tuesday, things were going great. Then all of a sudden, poof, Tron's flyback on the monitor blew, stank the whole place up. It happens, but so we started digging into that. It just is one thing after another. So I rebuilt the chassis, nothing. It's like, all right, well, I need to get Tron back out there quick because it's one of them nice, gotta have games, right? So I had another chassis, pulled it off. These are G07s. Worked, but it looked kind of rough. It's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go ahead, put a new flyback, a cap kit, and kind of clean everything up, get it 100% again. Did all that, plugged it in, boom, nothing. What in the world? So I had another G07, tried that, nothing. Another one, nothing. Like, man, I've got to get this thing up quick. I'm like, yeah, I can rebuild them, but it's not exactly a fast thing. So me and Andrew, we were scratching our heads, like, we got to do something to get Tron back out for the weekend. And so what we wound up pulling a 4900 out of another cabinet that I had in the back, putting it in there, got Tron back out. But man, when I tell you it whooped our butts, I've never had a monitor whoop my butt over the course of 2 days, 3 days, whatever it was. But anyway, so yeah, sometimes when you get to going strong, it's got a way to remind you that nothing's in control as much as you think it is. So now that's Saturday. Waybacks is pretty busy right now. Probably got a couple hundred people in there. It's crazy. It's awesome. So while they're enjoying the fruits of the labor and getting to play some Tron, among other things, we're just going to kind of sit back in the arcade at the shop, in the home arcade, have a little drink and just relax. I might play some arcades here in a minute, but I'm thinking it's rare. It's rare that it happens. But I'm thinking maybe today we'll do a little Xbox One X and play some Call of Duty. So later on, we've got going on the kids and the wife. They're going right now to a birthday party. But I'm gonna take and barbecue us up some good old pork chops on the pit, and some deer sausage, jalapeno deer sausage, and we're just gonna have a good old evening. So thanks for checking us out and hanging out with us. Again, guys, if y'all have any suggestions on what you'd like to see in the channel, comments about the videos, feel free to leave them. I'm still brand new to all this, kind of making it up as I go along. I think we're going to play a little Timber today. So I don't know if you've ever seen or heard of this game, but it's pretty fun. We've got it on the SD multi at Waybacks. So pretty much the goal, you're this French-looking dude, right, with his mustache and his beanie cap, and you got to chop down the trees. And if there's a bird in a tree, you can catch the bird. It's extra points. Uh, you're chopping down the trees in the forest, right? So you're pissing off this bear, and the bear's, instead of coming and mauling you, he's like getting all these honeycombs with bees. Where he's finding this, I don't know. If he sold it, he'd make a killing. But he's like throwing the honeycombs at you and smacking you, and the bees eat you up so much that he gets you know, declothes. Like they literally sting his clothes clean off. It's crazy. I don't know who thought this up, but it is a really fun game, and so we're gonna give it a little shot. I'm not the best at it. I'm not bad. It does get pretty addictive. You can control the way that the trees fall. You can push them or get out of the way and let them fall towards you, so you can kind of have a little control. Because once you start filling the field up, it gets a little hectic. So we finished with 26 seconds, 2,600 points. There's the bee throwing bear. And if you hit the honeycomb, you get like 1,000 points, but I find it doesn't always work. Most of the time, I just get smacked and lose a life. I'm sure there's much better people at this game than me. And that's another way you can kind of mess up is you chase the bird and he's not working out too well. You will run out of time really fast. Get here. Ah! He got me. But I got the tree right at the end, so I was able to keep my life. That's awesome. This is the log level. It gets progressively harder and smaller as the levels go on. The goal is pretty simple. Don't fall in the water like I just did. If you fall in the water, you don't get any points. So that's no way to make a high score. That's the best way to get the bird is just try to plan ahead and be where he's going to go. If you chase him, you're usually never going to catch him and you're just going to run out of time. Like I got distracted and started chasing after the dumb thing. Ah, that wasn't cool. He was well below me. I shouldn't have been hit by the bees. As the Zohan says, no. There's a bee. The bee is not real. Alright. 1,700 extra points. 17 seconds to spare. Where are we? Round 4? Yeah. I haven't done much research on this game. I only discovered it a couple years ago, honestly. So I'm not sure what the guy's name is of the bear, but you know, in this era, they all had names and backstories, and so who knows? He kind of looks like a Jacques to me, so I just always kind of called him Jacques. So if you know, let me know. I don't know, I might Google it later. This was one I never saw as a kid. I don't know that it was that popular back in the day. But then again, we didn't have a lot of arcades around here when I was a kid, so it may have been super popular, and I just never saw one down here. Ah, you got me again. Not doing too good this round. Still got a few seconds extra. As each level goes, you get more and more trees, or like the logs get smaller and smaller. I messed up. See, where I find best is you get down low on the log when it's spinning towards you, and you usually got a little time, but I didn't get low enough. In case y'all are wondering what I'm playing on, this is an original Miss Pac-Man cabinet, because I like the shape of the Miss Pac-Man better than the Pac-Man. So it's a Miss Pac-Man cabinet that I put the black Pac-Man art kit on. using competition style app buttons with a Repro Wico 8-way joystick. It's just kind of a good all-around setup. Good for I play my classic games here on the SD because I got most of the ones I want. Pac-Man, Galaga, Tapper, Timber, you know, Argonoid, I think is on here. There's a few good ones. You know, this is the early game type setup. A bunch of variations of Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Junior Pac-Man. And then I got my MAME over there in a Velix cabinet that is running, you know, for my newer stuff, my 90s titles, my Killer Instincts, my Mortal Kombats, all that stuff. You know, great fighter cabinet. I'll show that one of these days. Because in a home arcade, you got me. In home arcade, you know, you can't fit everything. That's actually why I built this arcade as small as I did. It was because at one point I thought I could fit everything, and it was just getting out of hand. So this way, you know, you keep it to the few that you really like. You know, I got Jungle King, Jungle Hunt on here. It's a really good board, the Arcade SD. It's a bit pricey, but you know, it's got a great selection that plays them well. And he got me in. I really like these, and I like the J-Rock boards. I've got a J-Rock in my Multi-Williams. I believe it's FPGA, uses the same chips as the original, the processor chip. So it's as real as you can get without having the actual real one. It runs better than MAME. That bear really gets pissed off here towards the later levels. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Woo! Made it with 1 second. I don't know if I'm gonna make much more than this, guys. Let's see if we can get to the bottom. I'm screwed up already. No cuts and edits here. This is just one game playthrough. I wasn't practicing on this before I started filming. I literally just walked up, selected a game, and this is what you're seeing. I really wish I could take the axe to the bear. He's just about as infuriating as the dog from Duck Hunt. If you know, you know. Of course, I guess if he wasn't there, this game wouldn't be very difficult at all, would it? They really wanted me to chase that bird, but I'm not playing that. Can't get me that way. Quit walking into the darn tree. I don't know if I'm gonna make it, guys. I got 10 seconds with 2 left. Maybe. Ah, look at that. In my face with the cone. 1 second left, still made it. Stage 8. You'd think I'd get an extra life by now. Not sure how many points it takes, I don't remember. It's been a while since I played this one. I'll try to look up a few more facts before I post the video. You know, maybe link the blog link or something to it. Cause I'm no expert. I know a few facts about a few games. But honestly, I just like fixing them and playing them from time to time. I'm definitely not the best arcader. Hey, there's my extra life. Maybe I can survive a little longer. One left. Oh, ran out of time with 2 trees left. It gets pretty dicey here in the further levels. I don't know if I've ever made it past level 8. This is the last chance, though. I would love to find a dedicated timber cab one of these days, but I've only ever seen one, and they wanted just crazy money. It was like $3,500, $3,700, something like that. Too much for one game. A lot of these collectors, they pick and choose what titles are rare and, you know, set the market price. And it's really not a fair route. I remember when I started collecting, you can get a tapper or a timber for like $1,500 fully working, and now for broken ones they want $3,500. Just like everything else in the economy, it's just horrible. Well, that's it, guys. They got me with the B. So we actually got first place with a final score of 91,325. Get my initial in here, because this board does save high scores, which is another cool thing. So yeah, that's timber. What do you think? All right, so just to satisfy my own curiosity, I went back and I looked on KLOV and a couple other sites, and I actually couldn't find the name of the character on Timber, which is kind of weird, because that era of games, usually there was always a backstory and a name and, you know, something to sell it. But yeah, no such luck that I could find anyway on the typical sites. Maybe you know, maybe you can find it. One cool thing about Timber that I didn't mention is the 2-player mode, right? So it's kind of like you can either co-op and help each other clear the board, or you can kind of sabotage the other person and you know, knock trees on him and block him from getting away from the bear and all that. So it's actually a really fun game. You know, me and my son will play it every now and then together, but typically I'm usually in here by myself because he's of an age where these games aren't as cool. But it's probably more because he sees it a lot. You know, he's been around it for years now. Uh, but anyway, yeah, he's you know, Fortnite and uh, all those Steam games. I forget what he was playing recently, some kind of battle simulator or whatever. But anyway, here I am, you know, born in '86, and I'm still enjoying these games all these years later. So anyway, I think this will kind of be our first episode of a little bit of, you know, talking about one game. This cabinet, I believe I told you, was a Pac-Man, or no, Miss Pac, that I turned into a Pac-Man. I made a trade for this one. I don't even remember what I traded now. I do a lot of swapping and trading. But I traded one of my buddies for this. Oh, I know what it was. It was a Lasertron, which is a cool cabinet, but it was a redemption game. It looked like a cabaret size, so like a little small, you know, 3/4 size arcade. They called them cabarets. But anyway, it was a Lasertron cabaret, but it had a multi kind of Berserk type board. Um, I forget the name of the company that made them. Team Play, I believe. They did the Centipede, Missile Command, Bolin, maybe, board. They came out in the early 2000s, late 90s. But anyway, Team Play made the one with Berserk, and I forget what other game was on it. But anyway, he had the original cabinet, and he wanted a spare board. So I was like, hey, I'll give you this Lasertron cabinet with the Berserk. I think it was maybe Berserk Robotron. I really don't remember. Robotron Joust. That's what it was, not Berserk. Robotron Joust Team Play board. But anyway, he wanted the board. I had the SD board that was been holding on for a little while. I was like, man, I want to put it in a Misspac cabinet. Do you have one? It's my buddy Jason in West Monroe. He's like, yeah, I got I'll give you a Misspac cabinet. It's not the best shape, but I'll do that trade. So I brought it up there to him one weekend, me and the family, and we went and went to the mall and all that good stuff in West Monroe. But got it home. The bottom was pretty rough. Had to bust the bottom out, replace it. If you don't know, the Misspac cabinets have a good plywood side and everything, but the bottom was this funky particle board. So like the most important part that holds all the weight of the game was the crappiest wood. I have no idea why they decided to do that. But anyway, so I replaced the bottom, sealed it all up, fixed all the wood, artwork, new marquee, new CPO, new everything. And so yeah, it's dwelled here ever since, and it's one of those that I don't think I would ever get rid of, because I had one previously. I got rid of it with Galaga art, and I always kind of regretted it because it doesn't have all the games, but what it does have, it does really well. And especially when you pair it with some good buttons and a Wiko joystick like I have on here, and it's just a really solid combination. You want to play Pac-Man, it's Pac-Man, it's great. You want to play Jungle Hunt, Jungle King, elevator action, it's great. It does a lot of things really well. It does some really bad, like it does asteroids on there. I just turned it off because it's all blocky and pixelated really, really badly. But for most of them, it's a really great board. So if you have an empty cabinet, or you want to convert like a one up or something into a real arcade, get you a JAMA harness, get you a power supply, get you an arcade SD board, and you're great. Yeah, you can do the Pis, you can do the PCs, like my main. But I find with those systems where you have just like hundreds of games or thousands of games, it does them, but it doesn't do any of them well, in my opinion. And you wind up wasting more time looking through games than actually picking one and playing one. So when you get something like this, and it's got 20 games that you've left on it, because you can take games on and off in the menu. So if you put like 20 games on here, well, those 20 games are good. You're gonna walk up and you're gonna play something, and it's gonna be fun. And you can set your controls. Like I got a 3-button with a Wiko 8-way. So what it has on there, it does really well. The MAME, it's so many games, and it's such a generic layout. I've got 8 buttons and a joystick. Well, that's great for stuff like fighting games, but that doesn't really do worth a mess on something like an oddball button layout like a Defender, or something with a steering wheel or a gun, or whatever. Asteroids. If you don't have that layout that the game's engineers made, it doesn't always play worth the crap. I mean, you can get used to it, but for example, I'll show you the on Asteroids, right? I mean, look at the buttons. You have left and right, your hyperspace, and thrust and fire. So like you're used to playing, like when I play, I've got 2 fingers here and like here, boom, boom, boom. And that's a weird angle that you're not gonna have on a typical 6-button, 8-button MAME. You're gonna put more of a fighting angle. And so yeah, you can play it, but if left and right is up and a button above each other, or even if you use the joystick, you go to hit thrust and fire, I don't know. You really got to get used to that button layout, right? So this is my J-Rock Multi-Williams. And this is in a Defender cab, but it uses the same. That's pretty loud. Anyway, it uses the same layout. So this was a really weird layout. Defender, it was up and down was all you had. And you had your reverse to go left or right on the screen. You know, this was a hyperspace just like Asteroids there. And then Inviso and Thrust and Fire. So it's this weird, funky layout that just doesn't translate good on a main cabinet. But, you know, if you're looking for play Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, then the MAME is great. But anyway, I digress. So I think I'm gonna cut it out there, guys. It's Saturday after all, so I'm gonna get to doing some barbecue. I'm gonna get to drinking me some cold pops and just enjoying it. It's a beautiful day outside, but still a great day for the arcade.
Dad, did you bring a saw?